Okay. We're at scene 6. We're at that dinner party that Bengal was maybe going to return to, but he got murdered. That dinner party that they've been talking about all of this scene. Before we play, you can see pretty much everyone is there. Before we play it, let's just talk a little bit about structure. And I don't mean like Freytag's pyramid. The way Shakespeare plays his tragedies pretty much work is there's some sort of moment that sets things up. There's the main characters kind of building themselves to be successful. They normally are successful or get very close to success, and then there's a moment that starts the unraveling, and then there's the unraveling, and then there's the conclusion. Most of the plays, I think about it, have these moments, maybe not in the same spots, but kind of have them. This is the beginning of the unraveling. So here we go. Or you could argue that's when Fleance escaped, but here we go.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. First and last, the hearty welcome.
Your degrees, you can all sit down by your rank, your degrees.
Ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir. To all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
So they're just being good hosts. So medieval society, you would sit at the table based on your rank, how far from the king or how close to the king. She's going to keep her spot in the middle, but I'm going to be the humble host. I'm going to go mingle. I'm going to walk around and talk to people, not be in the kingly spot, to show my subjects that I'm relatable. So let's continue. Oh, you saw. Enter first murderer to the door. So one of the two murderers, he enters. Macbeth doesn't see him yet, but he enters like he's hanging out in the back or something.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth, anon we'll drink a measure, the table round.
So you see where he code switches, where he switches tone, and he sees the murderer. Go drink instead of me sitting in your ranks like I was planning on doing. Let me go check this out. He approaches the murderer.
There's blood upon thy face.
It's like, you idiot, you show up to my dinner table, my dining room, with all the noble lords, and there's still literally blood on your face. No one else sees the murderer. Maybe he was in the back or behind a curtain or something.
'Tis Banquo's then. 'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
Is he dispatched? That's a nice way of saying, is he dead? Did you do it? Did you kill him?
Lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
That I did for him is a syntax. I did that for him. Oh yeah, I cut his throat for him. Yeah, I cut his throat.
Oh, thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
So the non-pareil, that's without parallel, you would be the greatest one if you were to do that to Fleance too. You'd be the best of the cutthroats, the best murderer, the best assassin if you got his son too. So he's asking, did you get his son?
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped. Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Okay, so then comes my fit again, my rage, my anxiety, my anger. I had else been perfect. Everything else went perfect. Whole as the marble, founded out as a rock. I was like solid, like a rock. My plan, everything worked out. But now I'm cabined, cribbed, confined, bound to saucy doubts and fears. Yeah, I'm held back. I'm limited now that Fleance is gone, or has escaped. But Banquo's safe. Like, okay, Banquo is safely dead.
My good lord, safe in a ditch he bides with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Yeah, he's at least been stabbed or like 20 times.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thank you for killing him. There the grown serpent lies. So the grown serpent, the grown snake that could poison him, that could bite him, is dead. The worm, what is worm? Like a small snake. The worm is fled. Fleance is fled. Now, in his nature, like his human nature, what's in his soul, that will venom breed will breed venom. He will eventually be poisonous to me, but he has no teeth for the present. He's not dangerous to me for like many, many, many years, so let's not worry about that. Get thee gone. Like, get gone. And then I'm going to call you up tomorrow, and we're going to do more tomorrow. And then Lady Macbeth sees him like in the corner talking to some weirdos, and she says,
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, it is not often vouched, while 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome.
You're not like giving a toast. You're not giving cheer. You're not being the head of your own party.
To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
The sauce to meat is ceremony. So yeah, like, we can't just have meat like a dinner. We need to have sauce, something on top of it. We need to have you. We need to have like your kindness and your kingliness and whatever. This meeting is bare, is empty, is naked without you here. And then you see stage direction. So if you were watching the play, you would see this. Enter the ghost of Banquo and sits in Macbeth's place. So Macbeth's seated at the table. We'll talk about this as it happens. Here we go.
Remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion wait on appetite, a health on both.
So that's like the toast.
May it please your highness sit.
Here had we now our country's honour roofed, were the grace person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
So I'm just afraid, I'm sorry that Banquo's not here. He's being ironic, of course, because he knows that Banquo's killed and he ordered him killed. He doesn't see the quote-unquote ghost yet. So he's still just talking. Maybe he's looking somewhere else. Let's go.
Sir lays blame upon his promise. Pleased your highness to grace us with your royal company.
Now Ross Ears playing the political game. His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. He's not that loyal to you like he promised because you're the king. Well, no, he's been murdered, but they're just playing the political game.
The table's full.
So now Macbeth has seen the ghost or something. The table's full. Someone's at my seat.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is moves, your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
So he sees a ghost. They don't. Which of you have done this? Who took his dead body and put it there and is sitting in the chair? Like, who did this to me?
My good lord. Canst not say I did it, never shake thy glory locks at me.
So he's talking to the ghost. Thou canst not say I did it. You can't say that I did it, because I didn't do it. The murderers did it. You can't blame me. I didn't murder him. He did murder Duncan. He just ordered the murder of Banquo. Never shake thy gory locks at me, thy bloody locks, your bloody hair, your bloody head at me. Do not shake them at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not.
So she's trying to, it's kind of like, remember when after Duncan is killed, she faints, which is probably an act to take away their focus on from Macbeth. She's doing the same thing here. Sid, my worthy friend, my lord is often thus. He does this all the time. Has been since he was a boy. Pray you, I beg you, keep seat. Don't get up. Don't make a big deal. He'll be well again. If much you note him, you shall offend him. So don't note him. Don't take note of him. You will offend him if you do. Just ignore him. This happens once in a while to my husband. She's covering because she's like, what the heck is going on? And you can see the next line is, she pulls Macbeth aside. Are you a man? Like, are you sane? Like, what the heck is going on?
Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff.
Yeah, I'm a brave man. I perhaps looked at the devil. I looked at death.
This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan.
So, no. This is the painting of your fear. Your fear is painting this. This is the same dagger that you saw earlier, which you said led you to Duncan. This is a hallucination. There is no ghost there. This is in your mind.
These flaws and starts, imposters to true fear, would well become a woman's story of the winter's fire authorized by her grandam.
Yeah, this is something that like a grandma would say around a fire. This is like a fantastic story. This isn't real.
Shame itself. Why do you make such faces when all's done you look but on a stool?
You look like you're an idiot. Like the fear and the outrage and all the things in your face.
Prithee, see there! Behold, look low! How say you? Why, what care I? If thou canst not, speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
What?
Okay. Lo, how say you? What do you say? How do you say? Why, what care I? What do I care? If you can nod, like you're nodding at me, I guess, speak too. Charnel houses, those are like mausoleums, basically. Our graves must send those we bury back. The dead have risen. The dead have returned. And then you see the ghosts exit again.
I done manned in folly.
Your folly, the way you're acting, that's a mistake. You are unmanned. She keeps coming for his manliness.
I stand here, I saw him.
Fie, for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now in the olden time, ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since 2 murders have been performed too terrible for the ear, the time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
Okay, there's a lot to go through here. So he's kind of complaining about the state of the world and what's happening. And you might say the same thing as Lady Macbeth. Macbeth, you're being an idiot. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Just nod or go to the bathroom, whatever. Leave. Don't talk about it. So here's one of Macbeth's great character flaws. He gets obsessed over things. Things happen and he can't stop thinking about them. He has to act on them. The second the witches thought about murdering Duncan, he was just, boom. He was wrapped with awe, as Banquo said. He gets obsessed with things. He sees this ghost, and he can't just keep his mouth shut. He has to say the things that are in his head. Blood has been shed ere now, before now. So in the past, in olden times, people were murdered. And since then, so he's hinting at what he's done, murders have been performed too terrible for the ear, too terrible to be heard. The time has been, there's been a time when the brains were out, the man would die. When someone got killed, they were dead. And they're an end, and he would be over. But now they rise again. So yeah, that was in the past. Now weird stuff is happening. Now the dead is rising, and push us from our stools. They're taking my seat at the table. This is more strange than such a murder is. This is weirder than those terrible murders I've been doing. So, and remember, he's saying this out loud in front of the whole dinner party.
Worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, so full.
So he plays off of what she had said earlier. Oh no, this is an infirmary. This is like a medical condition I have. Sometimes it just happens to me. If you know me, you know that this is nothing. It just happens. So come, give me some wine. Feel full. Let's have a drink. And we can see the ghost enters again.
I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all.
So he makes a toast. Let's toast to Banquo, whom we miss, which is actually a pun. We miss him, like in our hearts, but also he's missing because he's been killed. Like no one's gonna find him anymore. This is definitely ironic. Like, oh, let's toast to Banquo. And Macbeth knows he just sees the ghost that seems to be Banquo, and now the ghost is creeping around again. So they raise their cups to drink. That's the toast. And here we go.
Our duties and the pledge.
duties and the pledge.
Avaunt and quit my sight, let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, Piers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
Okay, avaunt and quit my sight. Get out of here. Let the earth hide you. So, like, get out of my sight. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, like you have no life in you. Your eyes have no life in them, like you're dead. And then Lady Macbeth to the party, no, think of this, good Piers. This is just a custom. He does this at dinner sometimes, like it's customary. And he's going to keep talking to the ghost.
Man dear, hide! Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the hulking tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble.
Okay. So, approach thou like, approach you. You approach like a bear, a rhinoceros, a tiger. I would be fine. You know, I'm a manly man, I'm a good warrior. I wouldn't be scared of that. Take any shape but that, the shape of dead Banquo. And my nerves will never tremble. That's the only thing that I'm afraid of, the ghost of the friend I just murdered.
Be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence. Being gone, I am a man again. Pray, sit still.
Well, he just ruined the party. He just screamed at the ghost. You're the only thing I'm afraid of. Now, no one else can see the ghost. He's the only one that can see the ghost. So first let's talk. Is the ghost real or not? I've heard arguments both for and against it. If I had a bet, I would actually say that the ghost is not real. For two reasons. Number one, Macbeth has hallucinations earlier in the play. And when he sees things supernatural like the witches, Banquo sees them too. So other people can see supernatural things. He has hallucinated before with the dagger. But also, a convention of Shakespeare is when there's a ghost, pretty much the ghost talks. Shakespeare plays have talking ghosts. There's no talking, this ghost doesn't talk, which means the other people don't have a chance to hear it. Yes, this audio version has the ghost doing some echoey stuff, but that's not in the text. So I would say this is probably in his head. This is probably not a ghost. But if you can prove it with evidence, then there's a ghost. Even the scholars aren't fixed on this. But he just, what are the things he admitted to? He admitting to, I didn't do it. People have been dead in terrible ways. I'm not scared of a tiger, but I'm scared of this, whatever I'm seeing. And then it disappears and he's fine. And everyone is just staring at him, talk to the air. Let's continue.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Your disorder, you are now, you are not an ordered being. You're not in the order of the universe, like that great chain of being kind of stuff. You have made disorder. You have made chaos. You have ruined the party. And now everyone you've revealed yourself to everyone.
Things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder. You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe, and now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What, huh? I think you can behold such sights, and keep your natural ruby, the natural redness of your cheeks, while mine is blanched with fear, made white with fear. Hey, you know what? I'm not the crazy one. You're the crazy one. You're the one that just saw that too, and you didn't react. I saw it, and I flipped out, but that's what people do. I'm the sane one here.
Sights, my lord.
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night. Better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
And then she sends all the lords out. So this is the beginning of the end for Macbeth. Yes, it was the murdering of Fleance, but that's not that big of a deal. This is where he gets exposed in front of everyone, all the other lords, that he's weak, he's perhaps not sane, he's unkingly, he probably did some terrible things, because he kind of says them and admits them. And this is the kind of society where if you show weakness, people will rise up to take you out. This is only the strong will survive kind of society. So all the lords have left, and now we're with Macbeth.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have, by maggot pies and choughs and rooks, brought forth the secret'st man of blood. What is the night?
He knows that I just ruined it, or severely ruined it, or partially ruined it. It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Now, there's a lot of different ways to interpret that. Blood will have blood. I think what he means is when you do something bloody, things bloody happen back to you. The universe pushes back.
Almost at odds with mourning which is which.
How say'st thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way.
So he mentioned something else. How sayest thou, how did you say that Macduff denies his person? Macduff was all the way in the beginning of the scene. He's another one of the Thanes. Hey, why isn't Macduff here? Did you send for him?
But I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betime...
Okay, so before we go on to this, I'll send for him. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed, or fed. Hey, in all the Thanes that were just here, in all the Thanes of Scotland, I have a spy, someone I kept fed. I pay. So I have spies all over the place. And tomorrow...
As I will to the Weird Sisters.
I'll go to the Weird Sisters. I'm going to go see the witches again. I'm going to seek them out. Like, let's reverse that. They sought me out, now I'm going to seek them out.
More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means. The worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er.
Alright, those lines right there are some of the best lines in the whole play, some of my favorite lines. So first, for mine own good, all causes shall give way. For my own good, for my success, all the other causes will give way. I will sacrifice everything else for me. Now the really good lines start now. I am in blood, stepped in so far, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go over. Okay. I am in blood. I'm stepped in blood so far. If there's like a sea or a pool of blood, so he uses the verb wade. When is the only time you wade? Wade is like when you have to cautiously and kind of with burden walk through something. Like you wade through the water, you wade through the snow, you wade through high grass. I am so deep in blood. I've stepped so far into the blood, like if blood is the sea or the ocean, that I can no longer wade. I cannot keep walking, which means he's floating, or he's drowning, in the blood. I'm so far into the blood, into the sea of blood, returning were as tedious as go over. Returning now, to go back to the shore, to go back to peace and calm and safety, were as tedious as going over, as going back. I've killed so many people, I'm so deep in blood, that to go back and like repent my sins would be the same amount of work than just keep going forward. So I'm probably going to just keep going forward. It's like, I've swum halfway into the sea. It's the same amount of effort to keep swimming than to go back. So I might as well keep swimming. Basically, an older way of saying, I've gone too far to turn back now. I'm so far in the blood that I can't even turn around anymore. Or it doesn't even make sense to.
Strange things I have in head, at will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
Yeah, I have strange things in my head that the hands will act.
lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
You lack the season of all natures. You know, nature, seasons, life cycles, life and death and rebirth. Days like that. Day's life, night is death. You sleep at night, that's the rebirth. You haven't been sleeping, my lord. And remember Macbeth after he killed Duncan, he said, Macbeth hath murdered sleep? Yeah, I haven't been sleeping.
Come, we'll to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
That's a great line. We are yet but young indeed. So the deeds that we're doing, this terribleness, we're young in them, meaning that we're only at the beginning of the terrible stuff that we need to do. Because if we were old indeed, we'd be at the end. No. We're young indeed. We're at the beginning of all the terrible stuff that we have to do. Come, let's continue doing this. And that's a very long scene. That's the end of the scene. One of the most important scenes of the play. Maybe the focal point of the entire play that everything is almost hinging on. And see you next scene.